Hey guys, we are in the basement. Hey, check this out. I got pole position down here. I think it looks pretty badass there. Actually, I was playing a lot of pole position yesterday. Man, I love that game. But yeah, the arcade's getting kind of full here. I have a spot here, I think, for maybe one more game, and that just might be the end of it here. I might have to start selling some stuff, I think. But anyway, the game I want to talk about today is a game called Qbert. And I actually did a preview video of Qbert back when I got it, but it was a really crappy video. So today we're going to do an official Qbert video. And Qbert, look at it. Look how awesome that game looks. Qbert is definitely one of my favorite games of all time. It was put out in 1982 by Gottlieb. And Gottlieb was a pinball company. You know, they made pinball machines in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, even into the 90s, I think even the 50s. Gottlieb and Williams were kind of the two big pinball kings. And in the 80s, they both kind of got involved in video games. And Gottlieb, probably not as successful as Williams. You know, Williams had Robotron and Defender and Stargate and all that stuff. And Gottlieb, this was their star game. This was the only game I think that really had mass critical success. They also did like Reactor and Mad Planets, but those games are kind of obscure. Qbert was definitely part of the mainstream culture. I mean, there was cartoons and lunchboxes. I mean, everybody knew who Qbert was. And who is Qbert? Qbert is this cute little guy. Look at him. Isn't he awesome? And they made toys and all this stuff. I mean, just go on eBay. There's tons of Qbert stuff. And I have a pretty nice looking machine here. When I got it, it didn't have side art, and I got some side art on here. And I also put this marquee on. Now, initially, they didn't really have a name for this game, so they wanted to call the game this. Whatever the hell that says, they were going to call the game that. And they thought they were kind of being clever, and they actually made some games with that marquee and put it out on location, and no one knew what the hell it was called. So they redid the marquee and they put Qbert on here just like they did on the bottom. But, you know, the name Qbert, you know, it has something to do with the cubes here, and his name was going to be Herbert, and they kind of combined Cube and Herbert and came up with Qbert, and they kind of shortened it with the Q instead of Qbert. But anyway, it's a really fun game, and I will set up the tripod and let me show you guys how it plays. Okay, we have the tripod set up here. Now, one thing I want to point out here is the joystick. It has diagonals. It doesn't go up, down, left, right. It goes up, left, up, right, down, left, and down, right, because you need to move Qbert on these axes, which are kind of diagonals. And basically, what the object of the game is, you are controlling Qbert, and you're moving him from cube to cube to cube, and as you land, the cubes change color. And what you want to do is you want to change all of the cubes to the color that it's requesting, and once you do, you pass the level. Now, this game has some cool features in it that's actually kind of unique. This game has speech synthesis, so Qbert talks, but he doesn't say words, he says gibberish, which I think is what they were going for with this, because that's the gibberish that he's saying. And it's actually pretty neat. Another thing that this game has is a knocker, a pinball knocker. Now, historically, in pinball games, when you get a free game, you'll hear this knocking sound. And what it is, it's a coil that is hitting the cabinet. It's hitting the wood, and it's this very loud mechanical thump. It's not a video game sound. It's like a mechanical thump, like someone taking a hammer and hitting a piece of wood. And this game has that built in. I mean, Gottlieb was a pinball company, so they probably had these knockers or coils laying around, so they put it in the game. So when Qbert falls off the level, you'll hear this thud and this knock. Anyway, let me turn the lights off, and let's start a game. And again, the controls, there's no buttons, there's no nothing. You're only moving Qbert. So let's start the game. The game's got great sound. Okay, so what we're doing here, very simple, is we're just controlling Qbert. We're bouncing from square to square. When we land the square, the color changes, and right now I need to change them all to yellow. But now if I jump off the side there, see the snake was chasing me, you land on that disc, and if it's near the snake, he will jump off and you'll get a nice 500-point bonus. And then you have these red balls that are trying to kill you. You cannot touch those. And then you'll have green balls that come out, and if you get those, it'll actually freeze the whole level. Okay, see there? I jumped on the thing. When the snake was near me, he falls off. I get 500 points. And there you go, we cleared the level. That's the first level. And this is basically the whole game, except it gets a lot harder. And also in the later levels, you have to touch the squares twice to change the colors. And then even later, if you touch the squares again, it'll change back to the original color, which really makes the game more like a puzzle where you have to kind of figure out how the hell do you pass this. Alright, so let's get that snake. I usually try to always use those discs to get those bonus points. Otherwise, if you don't use them, you only get 50 points for them if they're left over, but if you do use them to kill the snake, you get 500 points. Alright, so now we're on level 3. Now we've got these guys here, and if you look, they're actually on a different plane. They're kind of these weird looking guys, and they make these cool speech synthesis sounds. You hear that? So you hear that I died, and you hear Qbert talk with that kind of gibberish. And listen, those guys are making cool noises too. I love those guys, those sounds. Alright, so here's a green ball. So now I get the green ball, everyone's frozen, I can go through them. So let's get the snake, let's clear this level real fast. Okay, so now we've passed round 3, we get a 1500 point bonus. So let's get past this level, and then everything is kind of broken down into waves of 4. So this is level 1, round 4, and after I finish this, we'll then be at level 2, round 1, and so on and so forth. And they keep introducing just little differences, but nothing really major changes in the game. Alright, so let's pass that. So now we are going to be on level 2, and we get some cool music. And now it shows here you need to step on the squares twice to change the color. See, it says to change it to green, but when I take a step, it's yellow. So I have to step on it again, and now it's green. Oh, I just died. Alright. So let's see if we can pass this. Alright, so get rid of that snake. And you just heard that knocker sound. Alright, so that little guy there, he's a little pisser. When he steps on the squares, he actually changes the color back. That guy's name is that Slick? Or Sam? Alright, so anyway, I mean, that's the gist of the game. Let me fall so you can hear the knocker again. That cool? So anyway, that's it. That is Qbert. The game does save scores. However, not very reliably. This game actually is notorious for its hardware flaws. It was not designed very well. The game actually heats up pretty bad in there and everything gets cooked. Another problem is the high score save loss. I especially have this problem because when I turn all my games on at the same time, the voltage drops just a little bit. Just enough to screw Qbert's high score table up and I'll lose all my scores. Now I tried to fix that by buying a voltage regulator down there for like 40 bucks on Amazon, and what that does is it makes sure that the voltage is always 110 and that I don't get brown voltage, low power voltage going to the machine. And that has definitely helped because before I was losing my scores every day. Now it's saving the scores for weeks at a time, but every now and then it loses the scores, so it's really irritating. I really like having my games save their scores. But anyway, that is Qbert, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It's definitely a badass game. If you have never played Qbert, you definitely gotta seek it out. I mean, look how great this game looks. Anyway, there you have it, guys. Thanks for everyone that has subscribed to my little channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Click that subscribe button and also go to johnsarcade.com. There's a forum there. If you guys want to get in touch with me or just chat with other collectors, go to johnsarcade.com and click on that little forum button on the top and join the forum. Otherwise, that's it, guys. We'll see you later. Take care.